Hello, book dragons, and welcome back to the Emerald Dragon Lady. I'm going to go through my April reads with you now. It is halfway through May, and I'm finally having the time to be able to do this. So I'm excited to get this done. So, without further ado, here we go. The books I read in April in reading order this time. Last time I did it based on arcs, TBRs, and then buddy reads. This time I just went in order of what I read first to what I read last. So, starting at the beginning, I read Sally's Lament by Mari Mancusi, and this was a TBR read. This was 5 stars for me. For those of you who don't know, I am a huge Nightmare Before Christmas fan, and it was one of those I had to try the book. And I will admit that I do like Shay Earnshaw's Long Live the Pumpkins Queen book a bit more than Sally's Lament, but I did like Sally's Lament mainly because it stays true to Sally being the hero in the book and Jack not overshadowing her and taking over, sort of thing. I do think Jack is a little bit more weirdly lovey-dovey in this book, but it's not too far-fetched. But it was okay, and I liked it, and excuse me. And the other thing I liked about Sally's Lament was the brand new villain, because it was like this misplaced creature that somehow ended up in Christmas Land instead of Halloween Town. So I love this book. I would recommend this book to you. It's one of the Disney Twisted Tales series. So, but if you like Nightmare Before Christmas, I definitely say check out that book. Next book I read was from the library, and it was The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. And this was a TBR read. It was on my list because a bunch of my book friends recommended it to me. I rated this 3 stars, and I also actually did not finish it. I made it about halfway through the book before I just couldn't stand listening to the language, the cussing, the derogatory slurs, and all of that crude name calling. If you took all of that out, the book actually has a good premise, and I liked the plot line of the book that I could understand. But there was just so much of that bad language. I couldn't tolerate it anymore. I made it halfway through, so I gave it a good try. Sorry for those of you who do like it. It just wasn't the book for me. So, but that's my review. Again, maybe you will like it, but just know that there's a lot of language in it. Oh my gosh, maybe I can edit out all these yawns because I must be very tired, more tired than I anticipated. The next book I read was an ARC read, and it was called Inappropriate Magic by Clayton Wood. It was an audiobook ARC that I got from freeaudiobookcodes.com, which hopefully I'll have a tutorial of that site up here soon. But I rated that 3.5 stars. I liked the plot. I did finish this one because I liked the plot and where it was going. And while there was the warnings of sexual innuendos in and throughout the book, but no actual sexually explicit scenes or anything like that, it does stay true to that. I would not recommend this to young adults. This is definitely an adult book. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It was borderline too much on the innuendos, but it wasn't bad. And then I needed to kind of break from having 2 inappropriate books. And I read another audio book arc. It's called The Train to the Forgotten Shires, and this is by Dale Stubbart. I unfortunately also rated this one 3 stars because I got it because I liked the book blurb. I liked what it said that the book was about. But the problem I had was the way he told the book. The book is kind of like a memoir from like a trusted friend telling it. But it was very distracting because halfway through, all of a sudden she'd be like talking about lunch or talking about what food she's making. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, she's talking about the history of the stories and everything, and then all of a sudden, ooh, break, we're doing this. It felt like whiplash between the 2 things. It was just, I seriously don't know what I read with that book. I don't think it was bad, but it was one of those, it was confusing enough that I'm like, I still don't know what the goal of that book is. So, but thankfully, after that, I really only had one other 3-star book, but I was like, I need something good because this is killing my mood, and I'm a huge mood reader. So, luckily, Talia Cantarel came to save the day with her ebook arc from Rosali Publishing, and it was called the 28-Day Polyvagal Theory Workbook. And I had read the first book to this one about the polyvagal theory and different exercises you could do to help reduce your stress and your anxiety. And this is actually, oh my gosh, and yawning is one of them. This is driving me nuts right now. But it was a great book, great self-help book to kind of help remind you of the exercises that you need to go through to kind of help that. And when I did do the challenge from the first book of doing it for 4 weeks and doing the different exercises that she has listed in there that I could tailor, because I tried them all out and figured out which ones I liked the most, and then just went from there and did the ones I liked. And I did notice a difference. I did notice I was calmer. I haven't kept doing the stress stuff because life has happened, and it was really hard to find 5 minutes to do it. So, but I need to get that going again, because honestly, it was wonderful to be able to have a clear head on my shoulders. It was really nice. So 5 stars for that one. Thank you, Talia Cantarel and Rosali Publishing. I truly enjoyed reading that arc. The next one was another audiobook arc, and this one was by Niall Wilson, and it's called Jurassic Ark, kind of like Noah's Ark, but Jurassic Ark. And the premise of this one was very intriguing. It really grabbed me because it had dinosaurs in it and stuff like that. So, and I will tell you, in the beginning of the book, the author even states that he is in no way religious. He has no religious affiliation, and he doesn't actually believe in this story. And coming from a religious standpoint, I read the book and I was just like, how could he not? He must have done a lot of really, really good research and reading of the Bible story part of that, because this book seriously was well thought out. Everything felt like it was totally plausible, and that this definitely could have been something that happened at that time. He did really excellent in pulling things together, even had quite a few mythical creatures. And that was like, seriously, I know he said that he doesn't have any religious affiliation and doesn't believe in this story happened, but he made it very plausible that that definitely could have been one instance or one storyline of how that happened, one reality of how that might have happened, how Noah's Ark kind of happened with this. And it was really good. I did enjoy that. I gave that 4 stars because I read so many books, don't know if I'll read it again, but I did enjoy it, and I would recommend it because it was a very good, very well thought out, very well researched book, and definitely 100% believable that that definitely could have been the way it happened during that time. So the next book I read was from one of my favorite authors, Leanna Ersom. I found her on Instagram, and I was so happy to be able to read her debut book last year. And I got to read book 2 in her Lost Souls series, Curses Dance with Bourbon. And I loved this book. Part of the reason why I like Leanna so much is because her writing helps women feel recognized. And in a world where, for some stupid reason, we're still trying to fight for that kind of equality, not just on a sexist level, but on a multiracial level and all that other stuff. I won't get into that. So, but I love her writing because it just helps me feel so seen and recognized and understood. And I honestly love it. She has amazing writing. There is one explicit scene in the book, and that's about it. So other than that, I love the story plot lines of it. So if you don't mind some spice in your book, I definitely say go read this book 100%. I still rated it 5 stars. I don't know if I'll read it again, but I love it enough that I would definitely read it and skip over that part and read it again because I love that book. But if you don't like spice in your book, I would definitely maybe possibly skip this one. So, but it's a really good book. Thank you, Leanna. I enjoyed reading Curses, Dance with Bourbon. Next one is an audio arc from S. Usher Evans, which if you've been following all of my shorts that I've been putting on my channel here, there's a Kickstarter going and it ends May 22nd. I will put the link in the caption so that way you can go and check it out. It's been doing really, really well. We've hit 3 stretch goals and a flash goal. So there's a lot of goodies that are coming with this back Kickstarter. So if you want to back this Kickstarter, I would definitely say go do that. There is something for each price level for you. It definitely recommended. And I love S. Usher Evans' Cozy series. I've read her Weary Dragon Inn series, and I've arc read her Podboy Perfection series. And so the Kickstarter is for her new one, which is Firewing Investigations, which is all about PJ, who is a dragon shifter, basically being given the task to find other people who are coming into their dragon shifting to help them with the transition and change. And it's from what I've read from different spots on that, it sounds so good and definitely the funny chaos of a teenager. So, but A Splash of Arcana is book 2 in the Podboy Perfection series, and I love it. It's so good. 5 stars. It's great, and it's one of those I would definitely read again. I'm falling in love with Lily. She makes me so hungry. I gotta stop reading these books when I'm hungry, but she just makes some of the best desserts. It's so delicious. So if you haven't checked out S. Usher Evans Cozy Mystery series, you should. They're fantasy cozy mysteries. They're great quick reads. I love them. Not super hard. Great. I don't know if palate cleanser is the right word, but it's a nice way to break up those thicker books because it's just a nice, fun, quick adventure. I love them. Next is an arc from Lachelle Slater, who is part of the All That Glitter series, which is a street team I'm a part of. So her book that published was Amphibian's Kiss, and it actually just came out, I think, last Friday or Saturday. Last Friday. And so it is a new release. It is super good. There is a trigger warning for physical assault on the page. I personally wasn't bothered by it because it was kind of a defending type situation, but they do get beat up on because it's fae. And in any other books where I've read that there's been fae, it's been a typical thing that they torture their prisoners. So that's about the only other thing for that. But other than that, this was the best Princess and the Frog retelling. Oh, Lachelle, I would read this 100 times over because not many people do Princess and the Frog retellings, and like you don't see them very often. And this one was just perfect. Absolutely perfect. I loved it so much. Next is the second book to Clayton Wood's magic series, Ridiculously Inappropriate Magic. I also DNF'd this one about halfway through because the sexual innuendos were the book was more innuendos and less plot. And I don't like my books that way. I like to have more plot and zero innuendos, but so I did not finish this book. This was the only other 3-star book I had this month because it was just sorry. I could not get through it. No. So as you can see this month so far, it's been very, very up and down with all sorts of ratings and different types of books. This was one where I kind of branched out and tried something new, and half of the time it backfired on me. So I was really happy to have the good books that I had, because right after that I went right into Mary Meekum's Rapunzel's Gambit, which is a Rapunzel retelling, a part of the All That Glitters series, and it is coming out May 17th, which is next week. No, it's not May 17th. Siren's Treasure is coming out this week. Next week is Rapunzel's Gambit, the 3rd week. I know that much. I can't remember the date. I'll put it here. So, but best book ever. Oh my gosh. 5 stars for Rapunzel's Gambit. I absolutely loved it. I'm quickly falling in love with Mary Meekum's books. And seriously, at the end of the book, I did a happy dance because the dragon shifter gets the girl. Woohoo! It was so much fun. I just loved it. So definitely check out Rapunzel's Gambit. I'm hoping to make some fun content for that one for the release day. The next book after that was a TBR book, and it was Peonies for Paige. This one I did for my astrology challenge, which there will be another video because I got permission from the creators of the different book challenges I'm in to be able to share them here, and I wanted to make sure to give them due credit for everything. So you'll see more on that. But Peonies for Paige, 4 stars by Kasey Kennedy. I really liked it. It was a great, sweet romance, quick read about a florist and everything, who was coming out of a bad relationship and wasn't looking for love. And then, of course, hot contractor guy comes in to fix the plumbing in the florist thing. It was a good book. I loved it. It was fun to read. I really enjoyed it. So 4 stars for that one. And I read that one. The prompt for the astrology challenge on that one was a book that had pink and green on the cover, which ironically enough, there are not a lot of pink and green books out there. Either that or I just don't know where they are. So next is The Claws in Christmas, another TBR read for my astrology book, and this one was pastel colors on the cover, I believe. This one's by Rachael Bloome. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's a great book. And basically, for those of you who are coffee lovers, you will love this book. She essentially went in a coffee shop with her last partner, and it just got bad, and so she left. She couldn't do it anymore, but she has a huge passion for coffee and making coffee and doing all the fun, yummy coffees that people like. I don't drink coffee. I can't stand coffee, but I mean, there are people out there that love them. So, but she has to move back to this small town where her grandma or her aunt, I think it was her grandma, was. And her grandma made her do this 25 days of Christmas calendar in order to be able to inherit her home. It was fun to see her come out of her shell, to see the character be able to have her character arc of growth. It was a great growth. I loved it. And I seriously, if you love coffee, you'll love this book because it's got so many fun coffee things in there. So you will totally enjoy it. This is like the coffee lover's best friend. Next was the Dragon Ladies Book Club of the Month. We read Slippers and Thorns by Erin Halbmeyer. This one was about a 3.5 to 4 star for me. And that's partially because the writing was good. The storyline was well thought out and worked really great. And the one trope that I absolutely hate is the miscommunication, lack of communication trope. And it is rampant in this book. It is all over the place. And honestly, if you're going to read Erin Halbmeyer's books, I would suggest you read book 4 first, which I happened to do because I got that as an arc and I read that first. And then I was like, okay, I'm kind of lost on the backstory about this. There's something to do with this and everything. And so basically, Slippers and Thorns is not only its own kind of Cinderella retelling, but it's also got the background to Helena, which is in Arrows and Gems. So if you want to be able to tolerate book 1, I would suggest reading book 4 first. Read Arrows and Gems first, and then read Slippers and Thorns, because then you'll start to understand why things were the way they were in book 4, and you might actually have some patience to finish it to see how it works it out. And it does kind of work it out, but it takes forever to work it out. So there were some members in our club that were just like, I just wanted to know the ending and to know if it got resolved and things like that. Like, other than that, we were all just like, if we hadn't have read Arrows and Gems first, we probably would not have read this one. We would have stopped it like halfway through. So, but yes, if you want to read Slippers and Thorns by Aaron Halbmeyer, I'd read Arrows and Gems first. Highly recommend reading Arrows and Gems first. Next was an arc from Cedarfort Publishing and Media, and that was The New and Everlasting Covenant by Joshua Savage. It was 4 stars. It was a wonderful, refreshing read on basically what covenants mean to LDS members, and how those temple covenants can help you in your marriage and help you in your life. And it was a nice refresher and reminder. And for those of you that always kind of wondered what happens in the temple, this gives you a very good idea of what we do without, because we walk a very thin line when we talk about things that we do in the temple and the covenants that we make and everything. And so this book does an excellent way to highlight the covenants and promises we make without actually going into detail about the ceremony process, or this basically the ceremonial process that we go through to be able to make those promises in the symbolic form and everything. So if you are curious about what happens in LDS temples, this might actually be a somewhat good read for you to kind of figure out what that is. And it's been one of the books that I've read that has the most information without violating the sacredness of those covenants that we make. So if you are curious, definitely check out this one. The last arc I had was Cease to Contend by Rodney Dieser, and this was also from Cedarfort Publishing and Media. And this one was 5 stars, absolutely 5 stars all around. I would read this again. I would recommend it to everybody. And Cease to Contend is essentially a political book about getting along in a way, or how to be open-minded and understanding and listen to those who are of a political different affiliation than you. And it's basically like how to get along when you have different political views. And I really, really think that people should read this book. And if you read this, read it with an open mind, because if you don't have an open mind, then you're not going to be able to fully absorb all the information and everything that Rodney is saying in this book, because this book is one that everyone should read. It is one that I can't really put it into words. It's perfect. It tells you how to get along without ripping each other's throats out, in a way, I guess. So Cease to Contend. That if you needed to read a book about getting along with different political views, read that one with an open mind. If you don't have an open mind, it's just, you're not going to enjoy the book. You're not going to understand. You're not going to be able to apply it. So, and it looks like my manager is over here on the side. Hello. This is my lady bear. Yeah. She's a good kitty. That's my little princess. At least the current princess of the house. So, and the last book I read, my son and I finished Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is my favorite movie, but not my favorite book. And of course, K Rowling, 5 stars. It was so much fun watching my son's reactions to Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and him always asking questions. But Mom, don't they do this? Mom, don't they do this? Mom, that didn't happen in the movie. And I'm like, just listen, it'll explain everything. And so, yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed that. So loved it. All in all, I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 books. I should have known that. And it was a good month. A little slower. I tend to average about 20 books a month. So, but life has been very crazy and busy, especially for the end of the school year coming up here in 2 weeks. I'm going to have kids 24/7 for 3 months. Please, somebody come rescue me. I hope you guys had a wonderful May for reading. I hope you enjoyed some books. I hope you found some new books to read or put on your list to read. Grow those TBRs, find new authors, find new books, go on new adventures. Have a wonderful evening.